Good, happy Saturday morning, everyone. It is Saturday, March 19, 2022. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this Saturday morning edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Let's get started right now. First up, man arrested after allegedly leading police on pursuit down I-93 with a baby in the car. A Lowell resident was arrested early Saturday morning after he allegedly led New Hampshire State Police on a pursuit with an 8-month-old baby in the car. State police say they saw a car driving erratically on I-93 North in Londonderry at about 2:34 a.m. Troopers say officers attempted to catch up to the vehicle near the Exit 5 off-ramp after it stopped, but the vehicle then took off and fled down I-93 south. During a pursuit, authorities said the driver continued to drive erratically, and troopers saw several items thrown out of the car. Troopers eventually deployed spike strips and popped 3 tires. They say the car kept going but eventually turned onto a dead-end road and came to a stop. Police identified the driver of the vehicle as a 20-year-old. They say a Manchester woman and a baby were also in the vehicle. Investigators say no one was injured, but an ambulance was called to check on the baby as a precaution. That man was arrested and faces charges including operating with a suspended license, endangering the welfare of a child, and disobeying an officer in felony reckless conduct. He was later released on cash bail. Police say the passenger was also arrested on an unrelated warrant, but was released a short time later. Anyone with information about the situation should contact State Police. Silver alert canceled for Stark resident with on-site dementia after he was found safe. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Deliveries and 24/7 service.
Right now, the New Hampshire State Police asking for the public's help in finding an 80-year-old with onset dementia. Officials say Ronald Klang was reported missing last night around 10:38 p.m. He was last seen in a black Silverado pickup truck driving northbound along Route 3 in Lancaster. Klang is described as 5'3" with gray hair and green eyes. Anyone with information should contact State Police.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report.
Does your boiler or furnace vent into your chimney?
Dozens of birds at Dairy Sanctuary euthanized after turkeys die of flu. Officials say this is the state's confirmed case of the flu strain in domestic birds. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Flus in New Hampshire are actually...
Brendina and Bill Fleming spending the day at the lake with their 4 children away from their dairy home.
I can't be there. And my kids, I don't want my kids to be there around that.
That's because state workers were there euthanizing what Fleming estimates is about 80 of her birds.
This loss is so devastating that we're just going to have to live on the memories of what it was like.
Fleming rescues all kinds of animals and brings them to her sanctuary, Pumpkin Wall Farm. This week, she says 5 of her turkeys suddenly died. She searched for answers, eventually contacting the state veterinarian, who determined they had avian flu.
All our animals of the sanctuary have their own habitats. It's not a farm where everybody's mixed together.
Fleming says wild ducks carrying the disease landed in their pond and infected the flock. The rest of her chickens, ducks, geese, and turkeys then had to be put down.
They said, your farm is amazing, it's immaculate, it's clean, you did everything right, this isn't your fault. This is just, we're not set up to have nets over an acre of land.
The state says this is the first confirmed diagnosis of this strain of avian flu in domestic birds in the state. Officials say there's not a concern for food safety, and the risk to people is low.
I pray my story will help other farmers.
By law, Fleming says they can't do anything here for about 5 months. She says they are listening to all of the advice from authorities and may consider releasing some geese back into the pond on Labor Day weekend. In Derry, Mike Cronin, WMUR News.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. 3 more COVID-19 deaths reported in New Hampshire. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
While other dealerships' lots are empty, New Car has the used cars, trucks, and SUVs you want.
Checking on the pandemic tonight, New Hampshire seeing a slight uptick in new cases of COVID-19. The test positivity rate growing to 3% tonight as DHHS announces 142 new cases, and the daily new case average increasing now from 99 to 107. Active cases are up to 910. There are also 3 new COVID-related deaths to report, and hospitalizations fell to 31. That is the fewest since August 1st of last year.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Recent studies provide data on a 4th COVID-19 shot. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
See my ancestors' photos was just breathtaking. Wow, look at that. What'd you think? Look.
To the pandemic, tonight Moderna has now requested emergency authorization for a 4th shot, another booster, for all adults in this country. Dr. Jot tonight on whether Americans should begin to prepare for this possibility amid rising cases of this highly transmissible Omicron subvariant. Here's Whit Johnson now.
Tonight, in the latest push for another booster, Moderna now formally requesting emergency use authorization for a 4th shot for all adults. It comes just days after Pfizer made the same request for Americans 65 and older. Dr. Ashish Jha, just named the new White House coronavirus response coordinator, says they have to follow the evidence.
It may very well end up being that the 4th shot is helpful, particularly for high-risk people. We want to see the full set of data and then I think make a decision after that.
The concern is waning immunity. New research from Israel shows that a 4th shot boosted antibodies back up to levels seen after a 3rd dose, but didn't significantly reduce the risk of infection. In the U.S., half of those eligible still haven't gotten any booster. And now with BA2, a more infectious Omicron subvariant, making up nearly a quarter of all cases across the country, health officials say it's more critical than ever to get that first booster.
Anybody who's not gotten boosted needs to do that. I think if we do that, we may get a small surge, but it's going to be kept to a minimum. We're going to be able to get through this.
Health experts are closely watching the UK and Europe, where BA2 is fueling a resurgence. The U.S. usually follows trends in the UK by about 3 weeks. But tonight, Dr. Fauci is encouraged by one key metric. British hospitals are not yet reporting an increasing demand for ICU beds.
They're not seeing an increase in intensive care unit beds usage, nor are they seeing any increase in all-cause mortality. So we just need to keep an eye out on it.
And David, the FDA is set to take up the issue of a potential 4th shot in April. The review could include boosters for both Pfizer and Moderna. David?
Whit Johnson with us here tonight. Whit, thank you.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this Saturday morning edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Thank you for tuning in and watching. Have a great day, everyone, and goodbye.